So yeah, actually no, the Thuna, actual the translation of that is not Thor. Sometimes I just what I call it, like my mind is already onto the next thing. It's part of my mild ADHD. My mind is already onto the next thing. So it's like I skip to the next thing, but I have my brain have already given certain information, and I literally think that I really do, and then thank goodness you can record this, right? So like you give it and you go, hey, no, I didn't even say that information. I got to go back, and that's why I have like all these part 2s and part 3s. Oh, I forgot to put in. I thought I said that information. Oh, I thought I said that, but then you didn't. And I'm very well accustomed to that. So yeah, I already jumped to the next bit about Thor. So Thuna actually translates to Lord of the Mind, and which language is that? But it's because the Norse, you had the Swedes, and you had a couple others. You know what I mean? And the Vikings, a Viking was actually a like an industry. That was their way of life. It was their culture. But the actual ethnic group was called the Germanic people, and within the Germanic people, you had the Norse, you had the Swedes, you had the Danes, and you had something else. So, Duna is that's one of those languages, is because each language have a different translation. Thor is the one he got known around the world for. Well, recently, obviously, and as well as that's what's said in the Poetic Edda and the Prose Edda, and when you look at the English translations. But Thuna, that's one of those 3 or 4 different cultures, like ethnic groups combined, making the Germanic people. They had their dialects, and so Thuna does not translate to Thor. It translates to Lord of the Mind, but Thuna is Thor. So Thor is very similar to Krishna. There's some differences, but what is it? For by their fruit you shall know them. That's what Jesus said. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. And the thing is even the crucifixion. So I have to recheck this afterwards, because I haven't seen this myth in at least a couple of years, or at least a year and a half. But there's something like of how Krishna died. He was innocent, he got set up, and he got killed, right? He had a betrayer, just like Jesus had Judas. But then if you want to go by the Gospel of Judas, it was like Jesus had this mission, right? And he requested Judas. It was set up so that Jesus set it up with Judas. And he wanted to set himself free from the captivity of this body. And because in the Gnostic teachings, as well as in the other ones, it's the creator God is this ruthless dictator, and actually Jesus was trying to set the captives free from him, because he's the creator God and he created the whole world and all this type of thing. The freedom was to set yourself free from this material world, because this is just a vessel, and you got a body and a spirit, but you can't just do it foolishly. So if Judas betrayed Jesus and and that got him killed, but Jesus planned it, then, but Jesus did rise from the dead, but spiritually speaking, not his body. That's what they say. But then the other Christians, the ones that go by what the Bible says, no, he rose from the dead physically. So Krishna got betrayed. Krishna was killed in a similar way. I just have to search up to see if he rose from the dead or not. I can't remember that bit. But yeah, it just got me questioning, and that's why I got drawn in. He hasn't been a constant guidance, but it's a part of it, It's another element. And so, but the thing is people think, you can just change it so that whatever you believe is true, so that you're God. And I say, well, everybody has got the divine in them, right? So the thing is if they activate themselves, even if they don't, even if they're fully in their flesh or just materialistically or whatever you want to call it, not following the divine spark within, it's still there. Some people access it, some don't, and they access it, it's just as strong as mine. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. If they do that, it's going to be just as strongly connected to the divine as I am or anyone else is who chooses that. And there is consequences for everything you say, and I believe this. Everything that you say and everything that you do has consequences, whether it be for the good or the bad. And there's some things where it's like a shade of grey, meaning that you have all these needs that aren't met, so you have to make this decision, which is going to help you get those needs met. Now you've got to ask the question, is if someone else made that same decision, if they're in a situation where they had a little bit more leverage than you do just because of how things have panned out, and they made the same decision as you do to get the same needs met, would you be able to handle it? Would you say, no, it's not double standards, that I should be angry at them or have a problem with them for doing that? That happened, and I don't have a problem with them doing that. You don't have this double standard going on. It's equal standards for everyone else as well. And if you can honestly, truthfully to yourself, not to be bragging towards anyone or anything, but in your spare time you have no anger, no hate, no malice, no agony towards that, because there's no double standards, then that's fine. So what happens after we die, I don't know. Is it my ancestors who visit me, or is it familiar spirits? Well, see, I used to, when I even was Christian, I used to pray over the house. I used to pray, because there was a time frame I thought it might be demonic or anything, and I thought, well, because they say about mediums and stuff, but I never consulted a medium, so I thought something may have happened. But they never went away, and there was always peace and stuff. And then when I was in situations where I needed guidance, they'd give me guidance, and I would apply it, and things would work out. And if it didn't work out with that person, later on I'd find out all these terrible things that were going on behind the scene, and actually me applying that knowledge, which caused that relationship to come to an end, ended up saving me, ending up being the best thing. And other times it actually did save relationships or prolong them. So, yeah. Things to be thinking about. We all have the divine spark, and there is consequences for everything you say and everything you do, whether good or bad.